Hello, how are you today? I am here with my trusty little dog, my sidekick, Levi. He's having a sleep on the couch. He actually loves being in this front room. It's a cute little thing. He loves to sit. He is my protector in this lifetime. He loves to sit with me, and yeah, very spiritually connected with this little one. So yeah, wherever I am, he wants to be. So when I'm actually working in my reading room or healing room, he is in a different part of the house, and he can put up with it for a while, but he tends to sort of sit and cry and enough's enough now, I need you back. And so today I thought, well, he's on the couch next to me, I'm going to sit. I'm still in my reading room, I'm just doing it from a different position in my reading room today. So let's see what comes with today's cards. What do you reckon? So I've just asked, show me what we need to see today. There's two that have jumped out on the floor. Rather than, probing for information and wanting to know answers, sometimes it's good to just say, show me what I need to see. Show me what, maybe what I'm not seeing as well, show me the bigger picture. To ask the cards, a really direct answers, wanting direct answers, it's very vague. It can be hard, because sometimes we as humans don't want to see that. So, I like to say, show me what I need to see today, and that tends to give me what needs to come. So for the collective today, I've just asked, for Spirit to show me what you need to see today. What is it you need to hear? And just go from there. So all I'm doing, they're not as jumpy today, which is fine, but as they land, like this would get my attention, so I'd pull it out, or this would get my attention, so I'll pull that out. It's just a feeling you have when you're shuffling. There's no right or wrong. See, this one's come in and gone like that, so I'll take that. Let's have a look at what we've got so far. Beautiful. The first two cards out were the Chariot and the Empress. So, Empress, the Chariot is fast movement. It's time to get up and go. It's time to get moving. It's with the Empress, it can be just purely about filling your cup. Learning to look after yourself, make a bit of movement on that space, and not sort of restrict yourself in any way, because I feel like, you have been, the next two out, you have been overwhelmed, overworking, giving too much, trying everything, and nothing's working. So, it can be a little bit of a kickstart with the Chariot sitting in there today. I also feel like it's a little bit health related. There's been a lot, I've been seeing a lot online in regards to, weight loss injections and stuff like that. And if this is where you're at, it's everybody's journey is personal. There's no judgment. I surely don't judge anybody for doing whatever they need to do. You need to feel beautiful in yourself. And if you've tried every other avenue and you're smashing yourself, you do whatever it is you need to do. Having the Chariot and the Empress sitting there can show that it's going to be a kind of the kickstart you need to get you out of the funk that you feel like you're in. And it is okay. It is okay. It is what it is. Do your research. Do your research and make sure you've got a good sort of person with you, like family members, but also a doctor or a specialist that sits in that field, because I do believe that, for some people it's an absolute godsend, and it is the boost that you will need to shift your way forward. And I know that that's going to be controversial, but it is what it is. And I'm feeling it today, so I'm going to talk about it. But anyway, moving on, the Empress is very much, it is the pregnancy card. So there may be news that someone is pregnant in your close-knit circle. But also talking pregnancies, when I'm looking at that, you might find that there's if you are listening and you're actually due, you might find that when you go into labour, it's going to be very quick, because that Chariot card is a quick card. So just have everything ready. Be ready to go. Be ready to run, because that's really indicating to me that this could be a quick process. Good, quick is good, but it can also sort of put your body into a bit of shock. So allow yourself to just be prepared for whatever scenario that it's going to be. I don't feel like it's going to be long and drawn out, put it that way. And if you are someone who has just found out you are pregnant, and you may be feeling a bit overwhelmed by all of that, you may be feeling a bit out of sorts, or a bit, whatever it is you're feeling, it is okay. It's all emotions that need to come up. But what I feel around that is that this pregnancy will go like that. It's going to be a quick one. So do whatever you need to do to, just embrace it and enjoy it. For the rest of us that are out of that baby making era, it is about self-love. It is learning how to fill your cup. And once you learn how to actually put you first, you get moving in your life a lot faster. You kind of see things that may not be filling your cup, that you will be able to move a lot faster as well. There's this overwhelming feeling within the cards today. Like, I feel mentally overwhelmed, and I'm not that kind of person. So I know that this is for you out there. I feel like you've been trying and working, and every aspect of whatever it is you need to do. I feel like you've been pushing yourself into that, and maybe potentially giving a little bit too much in certain areas. Especially, the life work kind of area. I feel like it's been quite a hard balance for you to find your way with. I really, really want you just to calm that down and know that you don't have to give as much as you're giving, because while you're giving, someone else isn't. They just expect that it's normal for you to do that, and expect that you will do that. So step it back a little bit and allow them to step in, because sometimes it may be giving that person a gift, in the fact that they get seen and they get heard, and it takes the pressure off you. You don't have to do everything for everybody all the time. Today's card's very much about learning to delegate. What does that look like? And like, delegating is it can be a hard thing to do, because you kind of feel like you're losing control. It's let it go, let everything go. The more you surrender, the more you give it to spirit, the more it will work itself out. Like, don't have to do it all. Stop doing it all. Just stop doing it all. Even if females find it very easy. Excuse me. Honestly, when I connect up, it's just, females find it very easy to overgive. It's our feminine nature to just fill everyone else's cup first. But it's really, at the moment, there's this big collective move into where it's time for you to fill your own cup. The masculine energy, the males, they can overgive as well. Like, it's just not stuck in one genre or the other. Today, I just feel like it's going to be a little bit chaotic. If you're at work today, just take a step back and look from a different perspective. Don't get in amongst it. Fight, know what battles to fight and what not to fight, and just to kind of look at your work aspect or ethics, and from a different direction, and see where perhaps you're doing a little bit too much, or you could lift up a little bit here and drop a little bit there. So it's very much that shifting and moving kind of aspect. We have the Hierophant is sitting in here. Hierophant's a beautiful card. It can be spiritual learning that's coming in. Learning to fill your cup is a massive part of a spiritual journey. if you are a spiritual person that maybe just be stepping in and wanting to connect to your intuition, wanting to connect to your spiritual path and what that looks like, the biggest part of it is learning to fill your own cup first. What do I need today? You know, what do I feel? What am I lacking? What can I do to nurture myself? How can I shift the mindset? You know, it's just that going back to self. And that's when you connect back to yourself, your intuition comes up for air, and you kind of find that you are guided in a direction that is purely just this knowing, and it's your intuition. So, you know, like if you are in that space trying to get back into, switch everything back on again, it's not left you. It's just you've been busy, you know, you've been sidetracked. You've been over there playing over there, and you've actually come back here and gone, okay, how do I do this? Just love yourself, you know, really drop into that self-love, and the journey moves forward, because everyone has beautiful intuition. It's just the conformity of the world and what's expected of us, and our, you know, the materialistic side of life, the pressures and stuff, it just gets in the way. So just a pocket in your day. What do I need today? What can I do to make myself feel better? No one else is going to do that for you. You know, like people will make you feel better by, you know, they give you flowers, or they give you, you know, will listen to you, or whatever that is, friendship and stuff. But you're responsible for your own well-being and your own emotional, mental and physical body, you know. And you get to make choices around that every day. So you can choose to shift some of your old habits out of the way so that you can move forward. You know, you can choose to shift the script that runs in the head purely by, no, not thinking about that today, park it over there. You know, so in growing and learning to love yourself, all of that aspect has to be looked at. And it's, you know, it is part of the spiritual walk, just to be content with who you are and where you're at, and just to know that you've got your own back and that you will be okay. Whatever needs to move and shift will move and shift. It's the control aspect, you know, learning to just let it drop. You know, knowing what you can control, knowing what you can't, and not even over-investing in any of it. So, you know, it's a beautiful day today to just connect back to self. At the beginning, I asked Spirit, show me what you need to see. This is what you need to see. Mentally, overwhelmed. It's got to, you know, it's got to shift. It's got to stop. Physically, with life, trying to create this life that, you know, trying to do everything in life. It's you know, it's got to change. You don't have to be everything for everybody, you know. You first is the biggest thing today. You first. What do I need? How do I feel? You know, if you feel a bit, some days I'll get up and go, geez, I feel irritable today. I don't know why. There's nothing irritating me. I've got no reason for that. But sometimes the planets align, and it's just the way the energy is. So if you're not feeling yourself, go, okay, I'm aware of that. I'll be mindful that I don't push that onto other people. You know, sometimes you wake up and you might feel sad. But there's no reason why you should be sad. You might feel heavy, you might feel down, you know, like there's a lot of pressure on people at the moment to show up, to perform, to, you know, make money, to live in this expensive society that we live in. And that's a lot of pressure. But at the very root of it, it comes back to you. How do I feel today? You know, the moment that you surrender your life. When I say that, I don't mean, you know, just give it all up. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say surrender, in the spiritual sense, it is giving space around your life, you know, like not controlling it, not having to stress and worry about it, you know. So like for me, I wake up every day, I turn the page in my book of my life, and I just get on with it that day. I don't stress about next week. I don't stress about what's happening, what's going to, what we need to do, where we need to go. I don't stress about all of that. I just have given my whole being to spirit and just gone, just show me my way today. What do I need today? What I'm talking about for you is what you need today. The rest will fall into place. Once you surrender your life and just be present in the moment, spirit just have this beautiful way of just placing these beautiful, think for example, it's like a stepping stone that comes down in front of you. There's the stepping stone. I'll shift this because I feel like you need to see this little man a little bit. He's just so sound asleep. Yeah, spirit will put the stepping stone there for you when you need to step onto it. So the fact that, I've got to control next week and get all that done, you don't. Because next week what's meant for you will find you. So you don't need to worry about it. So bring it back, bring it right back and bring it back into the present moment and just really live for what today has. Look for the beauty in your day. Look for the calm in your day. Look for filling your cup. How can I make myself feel better? Maybe I'll just, sit with my animals and give them love because they love you back. Maybe I will just, rather than pushing and rushing and trying to organise everything, I'll just see what happens today. Seriously, have a go. Just have a go at it, because it completely changes the way you live, and you'll get to the end of the day and you'll feel so much more content, more at peace with everything, and that's key. To just have this peaceful life. Sorry, buddy, did I touch you? He has sensitive feet, so I touched his foot. I'm sorry, buddy. He doesn't like his feet being touched. See? He gets itchy feet, so he gets told off a little bit because he licks his feet. But we're working on it. It's a work in progress, Do whatever you need to do today to be the fabulous you, because in amongst everything, you just get lost. And when you're lost, like, who are you? What do you want? What do you stand for? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be known as? Like, I just always wanted to be known as someone who was really kind, listened, was present, not someone who was stressed, running a mile, go, unhappy. I don't want to be known as that. I want to be known as someone who's just, nice to be around, or have an energy that is, just kindness. There's enough crap in the world. So really look at, what do you want to be known as? Do you want to be known as, the man who's always grumpy and not got time for anybody? Or do you want to be known as the woman who, was always stressed and never enough time in a day and falling asleep on the couch? And, you can really shift that. It's okay that if you are tired at the end of the day, you get up and go, you know what, I'm going to take myself to bed now. It might be 7 o'clock, doesn't matter. You need that sleep. So it's really shifting your ways. Big thing, who do you want to be known as, or what do you want to be known as? Because I bet you would all love to be known as a beautiful, kind, generous person, that was present in life. Never stressed, never overwhelmed. It's a work in progress. Fill your cup, and all of that will just kind of come to the surface. I'm going to get some little charms out to see what we've got. I tell you, live a life like a dog, because that there, that's all they do. That's the life. Stress-free. All they've got to worry about is if they're going to be fed at the end of the day. And believe me, they get fed. Beautiful. Look, that's crazy. Tiny little paw print came out. Love your animals. They love you unconditionally, like to them, we're their everything. And that's crazy that came out. yeah, you know, like they live and breathe for us to sit next to them, and that's all you have to do sometimes. They can bring your blood pressure down, they can bring your heart rate down, they can take the stress out of your head. You know, in my most stressful part of my life, years ago, decades ago, when I had my big spiritual awakening, we had a dog, a family dog, and he pretty much saved my life, you know, like he gave me purpose to actually show up. He gave me that calm place to sit. So if you're going through a lot and you have animals, sink into them. If you don't have animals, go to a refuge, you know, like you don't have to take one home. Go to a refuge and just spend time, you know, because it will make you feel better. Get out in nature and see how you go. Little angel, you're protected, you are loved, you know, the more you step into everything, the more protected you are. Spirit is here, they have your back. That's a beautiful sign. Nice. I really like this next one. It's a cross. And you know, like I don't look at this as religious. You can be religious, I don't mind. It's your choice. You know, we've all got choices in our life. It doesn't make you a different, you know, you're not a bad person for being religious. But for me, this is about my faith. What is my faith? You know, where do I put my faith? My faith is me. You know, I've got my own back. I know that I will be okay. So it's really important that you believe in yourself. Have faith in yourself. Back yourself. I just popped 2 back in because we have 3 Tree of Life. So it's a bit tricky to... Dropped it. Sorry. Let's go again. It's just in a little pendant. It's quite busy, this one. The Tree of Life. It's a tree of knowledge. It's a tree of wealth. It's a tree of life. It's a tree of everything. But it's growth. You know, like think of it. The tree is just such a beautiful connection to a spiritual journey. You know, like when I do shamanic work, we work with the tree, where it's a bit of a portal and you go in and into that portal and it takes you to different realms. And so the tree, you know, has such significance. The tree has such strong trunk, but the, you know, the branches and the leaves can flow. So you can have your foundations, but allow yourself to be flexible as well. Tiny, oh my goodness. Now it's gone. Here, nope, I've lost it. It's down there. So here it is. Found it. Sorry about that, my loves. It's a tiny, weeny little blossom. It's like a rose. It's so hard. They are so hard to hold. It's just this beautiful little flower. Maybe I need to get a little bit of string to hang it off. Gorgeous little flower, showing that you're about to blossom. You know, blossoming is such a beautiful thing. Yeah, you know, allow yourself to unfold, allow yourself to come up for air and become the beautiful person that you deserve to be. I'm just going to put them over there. All right, we have the broom. The broom is purely about, you know, shifting all the rubbish out of your life, declutter, you know, just cleanse your energy, cleanse your house, cleanse everything. If it's not serving you, allow yourself to, you know, to shift it on. Allow yourself to move forward from it. We have the beautiful key, opening new doors, new ways of new ways of doing things. What I love about this key is it's kind of got this little love heart at the top. So, you know, loving yourself will unlock the beautiful doors. We have a star. In the tarot, the star card is beautiful. The star card is the dreams and wishes card. You know, like everybody has dreams and wishes. Some people it's just, you know, I just want to be happy. What is that I can do to make myself happy? Start filling your cup. Honestly, fill your cup. This one's a little bit tricky to hold. It is a person dancing. Find your joy. You know, find your rhythm, find your movement, put some music on, have a dance. It shifts energy. If you're stagnant, get the music up and have a bit of a dance like nobody's watching, because you know it just moves the stagnant stuff out of you. Last one, dolphin. Beautiful dolphin. Dolphins are so intuitive. You know, when I was going through my patch back then, it was in my 30s. When I was going through that, I used to volunteer at the dolphin research place in a little town near where I was, and I'd go and just show up, and these beautiful animals would show up, and mammals, animals, whatever you want to call them, these beautiful dolphins would show up, and they gave me purpose. You know, they gave me a reason to get up in the morning and shift my energy. You know, and I remember one day being there at the the beach where they were, and it was raining, it was windy, it was horrible day, and you know the dolphins would show up, but the people weren't coming because it was such a bad day, and they still needed to have that interaction or that engagement. So we would play chasey, and you know you'd be in like thigh high sort of water, and they would tap you on your back, and you'd go running, and they'd swim beside you, and you'd run like 100 meters up the thing and stop, and then they'd tap you again, and you'd run back the other way. And it was a place that gave me great joy, and it took me out of all the stress and worry and everything I was going through, because that was a really bad time for me. It took me out of all of that, and it gave me this out that I could just be me, and I didn't have to show up and you know fight for anything. I could just show up and play, and play is the best thing. So find your passion, find your purpose, you know, because dolphin is about community. It's about that family pod, that family connection. And if all that is falling apart, you know, find your spiritual community, find your soul community, and you'll find your way. But I just want you to know you are a work in progress. It doesn't have to all happen in one day. It takes years. You know, I'm not going to lie. It takes a long time. But you just show up every day and just change one thing and just shift a little thing. How am I feeling today? What do I need today? How can I make myself feel better? And just nurture and look after your cup. It's going to be phenomenal. You'll just be phenomenal. You know, everything I went through has got me to here, and I'm so grateful for everything I did go through, you know, because at the time it was horrible, it was hard, but it was so defining that it put me here where I can actually help others. So just know that whatever you're going through has got a purpose, okay? All right, I'm going to leave you there. Fill your cup, hand on heart. What do I need today? How do I feel? What needs nurturing? What needs letting go of? You know, be aware of the script, and we'll talk tomorrow. Okay, my love? See you then. Bye.